Greetings, fellow modelers. Hope you're doing well. Season's greetings and all. And welcome to what might be the final episode for this year, at least until the Christmas holiday is over, for Neil Paper Model. All right, so let's get into it. Here we have the B24H Liberator. This one here from Scissor and Plane, really good model. So this was one of the big heavies that I did that I went, yes, I need to go on a spree just building Scissor and Plane model. And it came out quite well. Really love how I got the engine formed together. This is a highlight, strange as it sounds. The top turret really came out nice. And I got carried away to the point where I started looking on the wheel detail to just check that this is how it's done. Now, the thing is, along the way, when you're doing model building, model making, doing research, you come across one or two people online that makes it really a joy and working with. And there are two other content creators that I just want to give a shout out to. There's Dan Smith, okay? He does these larger models and his laid back approach and just showing how he does things, just give him a watch. Just go look at the channel, subscribe, it's really good. And now for tank details and just looking at how tanks are done, armored vehicles, there's nobody better I've seen so far than swag_IER, okay? Capital SWAG_IER, common letters. And he does tanks really good. I love how he does them. So give them a shout out and just say, hey, Neil Paper Models mentioned you and I'm just here to check you out. They're really good guys. So without further ado, let's just get on with the final model and some painting tips that you may or may not be interested in. So take care, guys, and let's get on with it. Here we have another Scissor and Plane beauty with a big difference. Here, it now have a canopy. This was part of a template provided on the kit that I used to make the first canopy, transparent canopy, and it really brought this model to life, to scale. Now, the sheen that you see on the fuselage and wing, this is from superfine gloss varnish. Now, you don't have to have the exact varnish, oil varnish that I use for this. You can find a similar varnish, but this one, long as it's oil, so it don't make the paint run, it works quite well. The coating that's used on the olive drab front and this area is matte varnish, oil varnish, okay? So that's how I managed to achieve that shine, that sheen, that give it a metallic appearance. And it's really a lovely model. Now, how I did the canopy was I got my heat gun, okay, which is a hot air gun, and then I got a basic plastic sheet, like any box, any gift box, any pharmacy protective wrap, as you can hear it, like on any product, even in perfume box, anything like that, that's what I use. The template that was provided in the kit, and this was what the template came out like. I then use my X-Acto knife. I put here, and then I just wrap this around it. And then I use the heat gun, and it did the trick. Then I applied the edging and then cut accordingly, and that's how I got the canopy. So let's just switch over to painting 101, at least what I do, so you can follow along. Switching the view to overhead. Here we have the Focke-Wulf FW190. This will be what we'll use for our painting, our basic painting. It's not the final end all be all. I'm not an authority on it. I'm just showing you how I do my painting. So we have this. So before we paint the edges, I'm going to show you how messy work can get. This is my messy tray, okay? There are specific colors that was mixed on this that I have not tried to remix, and I made a good amount of it because it matches closely to what I have. However, when you're doing your own thing, like I said, you have your brush that you use. Now I have 2 sets. I spent money to get some real decent brush, which are these, and this can be found at any beauty shop. The first thing I'm going to do is making sure that the colors match. You can draw against this, let it dry. So when you're doing it, you don't use a lot of water. That's one thing you don't do. You want it to be very thick. Then you can take this, and do the edge like that. It's important to get your realism by doing that all the time. The second thing is, when it comes to mixing colors, this here is green. You can't just pick up green, because green can come in various shades like this. All right, so say that this is my technique. Say I use a little green with a little brown. And then you go, okay, little brown, a little yellow, because what you're doing is trying to get that green. Okay, then you test on the paper. You see it working, you go, okay, great. So you got that level of green. Then you go, for me, to get the lighter green, you take a little white, make it a little lighter. And you check it. You let it dry. And you go, oh, that's it. And then you use these now and you paint edge like what I did with this before. All right. Now, the other thing too is that when you're touching up the models, I have Q-tips. So say that you touch up the models like this. I use Q-tip and I can rub it in, almost blend it in. Like that. So if there's anything on the edge or mistakes, you can always blend it in. So basically that's how I paint. The paints that I use, and you don't have to get these, it's just watercolor paints, okay? These are the paint I use. Okay? So these are watercolor paint, see? Watercolor. This is from years of practice. You can have a color chart. You can go on the internet, Google color chart, and it will show you how you can mix to get these colors. And after a while, they will come natural to you. So basically, that is how I do it. So let's just go back to just some other models I have coming up and what I plan to do. I like the Warbird series. So based on this here, I wanted to do like an Axis series. So this is what I have in mind to do. The 190D11, the Meets 262, the 190A, the Junkers 88, the HS129B, and I want to do several others. For me, this makes sense because I can do so much of these models and it don't take up a lot of space. Also, besides this, I wanted to do some Italian and some Japanese design. And now I have a group of Japanese models. And here they are. Here we have the KI61, Nakajima, the Kawasaki KI45, right? And then we have a couple others that we can do, as you can see, okay? And I figure give these some spotlight so that I will have a more complete series of aircraft to put on the wall. And here we have the Shiden. So I love this. I built the naval version of this. It's in one of the earlier things so you can see it. And that's it. So I hope you like what you see. Thanks for watching. It's really a pleasure and an honor to just have you here. So until then, my friends, take care, walk good, relax, be gentle to yourself, and above all, my friends, one love.